Welcome back to some Path of Exile, and we finally have a build that is going well. So this is my version of Balor Mage's Summon Holy Relic Poison Necromancer, and it's very nice. Like the scaling, unlike the Fire Trap build where I seriously had issues with it, and we've been able to make significant progress. So we have now completed, we have our 4 Watchstones about a month into the league, which is insane, but effectively I made almost 0 progress and then played this character, I think we're at about a couple of days, something like that. Yeah, 2.5 days. And we had Atlas cleared to tier 16s and 2 Watchstones when we started this build. And that was about it. We had 3 div in the bank, having blown the rest on the other characters. And this was not good. Nicht so good. This character, we finally managed to actually get somewhere. I think if I'd been able to league start this build, which is, you know, in theory, it wouldn't be that hard to league start. I think we would have been here a lot sooner. I think the issue was that the whole concept of this build didn't exist at league start. So Nugian was playing Summon Holy Relic. So he was doing interesting stuff with it in hardcore, and it looked kind of neat, but no one else had picked up on it. And it was only when Balor and when Gazi got off the Spectre's kick and Balor finished with Poison SRS, and presumably with some input from their viewers, they seemed to decide to check this build out and do some work on it, and that's what led to this. Gazi has another version which is cold scaling, I believe, rather than poison. So this is effectively the same sort of tech that Balor uses in Poison SRS. And it's good. It's good. It's easy to scale. The only thing you really need to start this build, what I started with, is a 6-link Diala's Malefaction, which is, when I bought it, was about 3 Divines. Divines, since that's in old money, Divines that are actually worth something. This league, Divines are currently worth, I think, about 90 Chaos, something like that, which is about, for reference, about under half the usual value. So, yeah, it has been an interesting league. But yeah, we're finally getting somewhere. I pretty much finished, killed Maven, killed Uber Elder, not in that order, on what I'm estimating was about, I don't know, 4 million DPS, something like that. Felt like about 4 mil. And in terms of damaging gear, that was when I was level 94, I think. We had this rather dubious weapon, we had the Joffreys, we had the Aegis, I had these boots, I had these gloves, I had a slightly worse version of this belt, I had this dubious ring which I need to swap out, but we didn't have the recent additions, which are a replica Dragon Fangs and a level 21 Holy Relic. That's new because I just double corrupted that today. So yeah, that's where we were.
When I'm ready and not before.
Now, I don't know if I've explained this build. I will briefly explain this build. So these little fellas are holy relics, these sort of crucifix-looking Lego pieces. They trail around after you. They can't be directly targeted by enemies, but they can be killed by AoE and similar. They've got quite a lot of life. something like 100k plus at this point, more I think, now that I've upgraded their level. And effectively, it's kind of a two-part build, because we are running Lancing Steel with a fast weapon. The damage of Lancing Steel is irrelevant. We just fire these little bullets. We have returning projectiles, which means that at the end of their flight they come back, so we get lots of them. We're also getting life on hit, so we get an immense amount of recovery, because we don't care about the damage done by this portion of the weapon. And we're doing Withering Touch, which makes things more susceptible to chaos damage. So we actually have a conversion to chaos damage here, because our minions have Unholy Might, so all their fizz is converted to chaos damage, and they have a chance to apply Wither. And they do. The Holy Relics do physical damage. So yeah, the Holy Relics effectively, as we shoot, they will target an enemy closest to anything we hit, and will fire out their little Nova of Holy Doom, which is actually physical damage, except we've converted to chaos. And that's what they do. And they do that on a cooldown, so much of the build is based around the idea of reducing their cooldown so that they can keep up with your attack speed. That's pretty much how you scale the damage. You can also scale their base damage, which you do by scaling the gem level, which is affects the level of your Holy Relic minions, so their actual character level. So my just upgraded today minions are level 86, I believe. Yesterday they were level 78, and it's a huge damage increase. That's like 70% more damage according to PoEDB. Path of Building does not have the correct stats for this gem. Path of Building is not aware that adding 3 levels to the gem makes any difference whatsoever. So yeah, they need to fix that, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, so we're running this inside of Diala's. The TLDR of the mechanic is the quality on the gem increases the speed at which their cooldown recovers, and we have 82% quality on the gem, which is really quite unusually high. 20% from the gem is standard, 30% because it's in a green socket in Diala's, and socket color doesn't matter in Diala's except for the special effects. And then we have an enhanced gem, which has its level boosted by Diala's because it's in a red socket and is giving us 32% quality, so we're getting 32 plus 30 for the green socket plus 20, which gives us 82% quality, which happens to be one of the cooldown breakpoints for Summon Holy Relic. So that's pretty nice. And all the levels are coming from this Empower, which is just level 3 Empower that's inside a red socket, which means it has +2 to the level, so it's a level 5 Empower, so it adds 4 to the level of supported gems, and the supported gem in question is Summon Holy Relic. So it's level 21, it's got +4 from there, so that's 25, and the last three levels are from Replica Dragonfang's Flight 6, 7, 8. So that's the core of the build, and the rest of it's kind of candy, really. We have Asnath's Gentle Touch, which keeps cursing things when we hit them, and the curses stay on the bodies, and enemies which die near bodies will explode, which is great because they just clear whole swathes of the field. We've got quite a poor quality weapon, but it is just about attack speed. We're using Bone Offering and Tempest Shield and a few mods on the tree to give us massive block. So when we have Bone Offering up, we are up to what? We need to make some improvements here, but it's not bad. 74% of attacks which hit us are blocked completely. We're not using glancing blows. And 72% of spells are blocked. AoE isn't blocked, but a lot of things are blocked. So that's pretty nice. Actually, AoE may be blocked. Dots aren't blocked. So, yeah, and then we're using Aegis Aurora because every time we block, we recover energy shield equal to 2% of our armor. And our armor, when our flasks are up, is about 20k, something of that order. So, yeah, we're getting back plenty of energy shield. That keeps a nice buffer zone on top of our life. And even if the energy shield disappears, we get so much life on hit because every one of those bullets is likely to be hitting an enemy, and they also all pierce because with Lancing Steel, projectiles pierce all targets, so it's hitting everyone. And every time it hits somebody, we get 50 life back. So recovery is pretty insane, the block is pretty insane, the ES recovery is pretty insane, and the damage is pretty good. It's pretty good. So yeah, this is a good build. Most of the gear we've got is otherwise cheap. Joffrey's Crest has been in the game for ages, gives you +1 Holy Relic. Holy Relics used to be rubbish until Holy Relic of Conviction. This weapon we could really improve. I made this with a Shrieking Essence of minion damage, but I should have used a Deafening, but I didn't have many because I just wanted attack speed. So I'm just dealing with 70%. We'll reroll it at some point. We're also using that to trigger Desecrate, which summons some corpses, and Bone Offering, which improves our minions' block and attack chances, and because we're a necromancer with Mistress of Sacrifice, our offering skills also affect us, so that's how we have block and spell block, but it does keep our minions alive as well. Yeah, that's mostly levels, don't care about the other stats. This I just thought was quite neat because it makes attacks make enemies more susceptible to spell damage, and we don't care that spells cause enemies to take more attack damage. That's actually just quite neat because we're using attacks to trigger our spell damage. Yeah, it's pretty good. At least I think it's working. I mean, it's possible it's not doing much. It's increasing our attack speed. I should swap it out for a better ring, but it's a new item this league, so whatever. Yeah, just some boots with ES and decent resistances. Grave crafted those. A belt that fixes the fire res problems I got once I stuck on replica dragon fangs. Yeah, resistance ring, grave crafted that too. Triple res, otherwise garbage. Should do a suffix this can't be changed. Veiled orb, except veiled orbs are now ridiculously expensive because they changed them this league, which is very tiresome. I miss Veiled Chaos. Now we just get Veiled Orbs that drop from Katarina. So, yeah. But we've still got a few improvements to make. So, I'm still running Chance to Poison, for instance, which gives us 40% chance to poison on hit. Now, Baelor's solution to this, which I more or less have the pieces for, is to run Darkness Enthroned. He had 100% perfect roll on a Darkness Enthroned. That costs quite a lot. This 99%, I mean 100% is what? 10 divines? We have a 99. 2 divines. So yeah, that was a lucky drop. When I say lucky, we actually have had quite a lot of them drop. So it ain't so lucky. Yeah. Nice thing about Darkness Enthroned is that it doubles the effect of, up to doubles the effect of the jewels that it's socketed into, that are socketed into it, and it has 2 sockets, 1 + 1. So whilst we lose the stats on there, we can double the effect of the gems more or less, which means effectively I can stack up a lot of poison chance and a bit of life on the belt if I get some better jewels. And with all of the other gem sockets that we have in various locations, most of which are offering poison chance, especially if I pick up another socket, which I can at another level because I just allocated an extra point I don't need, then we can get 100% poison chance without chance to poison, at which point I can add something like Awaken Void Manipulation, probably. I can also buy Awaken Minion Damage and Awaken Unbound Ailments. Those would be nice. That will increase our damage. We could just get better Abyss Jewels. We could get a better cluster. I threw this cluster together initially on the cheap. I think I Harvest crafted it, or I Chaos spammed it. Something. It's not great. It doesn't have increased effect. It does give us some Chaos res. So we are getting quite a lot of Chaos res from that. It doesn't have any particular fancy, effects. It's fine. It's fine. We are using Supreme Ostentation, which means we don't care about attributes, which is great, because it means we really don't have to care about things like dex, which otherwise we would need quite a lot of. So we can just ignore those completely. That's from this Elegant Hubris that I got on the cheap. I think that cost me 100 chaos when I bought it.
When I'm
Yeah.
ready and not
So I couldn't store it in the same place that Baylor put his. He had this neat arrangement in here, which he claimed was not the best location, but it meant that he got a sort of drive-by 80% increase minion damage on this node because the jewel changes the surrounding nodes. So yeah, it transforms into Slumlord, and he picked up another here, which is 2 points, which is really nice. Those are like some ridiculous number of divines. He also recommended going over here, swapping out this jewel, and then picking things up here, but those people had cottoned onto that, so that was also like 15 divines. But I did find this rather nice jewel with a detour here, so this was my solution. We were already over here because we were taking these block nodes. Well, actually, they're normally spell block and block nodes here, but the jewels change them, so they're not. I can demonstrate that. Yeah, so this is actually normally attack and spell block, except we have the jewel, so it isn't. Just have to re-engage everything again. Yeah, so we had to spec out of that. Instead, we took compensatory block nodes down here. So that means we're actually slightly overkill on our attack block. We don't have quite as much spell block, but honestly, it's been fine. And if I get a 21 bone offering, I can actually kind of fix that anyway. And I could, of course, just grab an extra spell block node, which would solve the problem completely. So we didn't really need this node. I think Baylor just took it because why not? It's the best place. But yeah, dump that, buy out here instead, drop a jewel socket elsewhere so we can buy this one. So I think this cost me sort of 6 extra points, something like that. It's not quite as efficient, but we're getting 160% minion damage for 100 chaos, which, yeah, I could get some passives back if I spent 20 divines and got it here, but fuck that. Yeah, I couldn't actually afford replica dragon fangs until today, because it was 10 divines for the cheapest one, and that's the overnight price. They were 11 or 12 yesterday, which is insane. And I couldn't really afford the Summon Holy Relic level 21 because that was 2 divines, which is also insane. I mean, actually, it's quite reasonable, but it's more money than I had. I've had like 3 divines this entire league, because farming strategies have been, well, the sort of stuff I used to do doesn't really work anymore, thanks to this league. So, yeah, didn't really have any money. However, I did buy a Temple of Azuatl, and then I just double corrupted it using the lapidary lens in the relevant chamber in the temple someone else had already made. So yeah, ran their temple, made my own 21, so that was nice. And then I was having a look on PoE.ninja, and I noticed that very few things are actually worth money that are accessible, as you'd expect. However, Curiosity, which is part of the set of Val fragments that are used to make the Adorned Jewel, which is super popular for endgame builds as long as you get a really high roll, which you don't very often. The parts for that, the one that comes from Delve, was 15 divines, because people don't like doing Delve, but it's really easy to get in Delve. So I've just been doing some Delve, and killed a couple of Ratatouille, or whatever his name is, and he dropped me a Curiosity. I sold it for, I think, something like 14 div, because I wanted to undercut everyone else, just to get a quick sale. So suddenly I had 20 div, and bought my Dragon Fangs, and now I can afford the gems I want to buy. So, yeah, all of these divines otherwise, I just made one selling a random corrupted jewel that someone's using with the Adorned. It was just mana and 2% reservation efficiency, and they paid a divine for it. Cool. I'm guessing all the others are stupidly overpriced as well. Cool. So, yeah, but otherwise, I really haven't made many successful trades this league. All of this money I largely found off the ground. I sold a couple of random jewels for 40 to 60 chaos. They're mostly not shifting. Now, if I was willing to make low money transactions, I'm sure I'd make a lot more money, but I can't be bothered with that. I don't like selling things that, you know, when you're in a chain of whispers and you're the 6th person they whisper, but they're going to whisper another 10, and you probably lose out, don't pick up the trade, and then you leave your map and they give you 10 frickin' chaos or whatever. Yeah, who cares? But yeah, so money's been an issue, but we have just been solving that. And now, we're just doing a few things at the same time. I actually finally feel, having taken down Maven and Uber Eater. Uber Eater? No. Uber Elder. I finally actually feel like I'm actually at the end game. As I say, you could do that with this build in like week 1, even if you're me. But I didn't start with this build, so that wasn't an option. But now we are doing several things. So I am collecting more. I've actually just done a combined bossing / Shaper and Elder Guardian / Abyss / Harvest / something else. Yeah. Oh yeah, Delve. So we're collecting Sulfite to go do some more delving, so we've got a lot of those nodes. We wanted them anyway for the speed boost. We're from Packed with Energy, which is going to be nerfed next league. We have all of the Abyss nodes, because I'm still hoping that I can get a native drop of Amnamanu's Gaze. Amnamanu's Gaze, yeah. Nice jewel will give us about a 20 to 30% damage boost if we can pick one up, but it's currently 15 divines, so fuck that. If I find one, yay. Otherwise, probably not going to get one. I could buy one, but I don't want to pay the money. But I will do a bit more delving, because we might be able to find ourselves another Ratatouille, and he might drop another Curiosity, in which case we'll sell it and buy an Amnamanu's Gaze. Yeah. So we're doing that. I need Harvest Juice, because I want to make some better Abyss jewels. I need another 15% to go in here, ideally with Life, and Harvest Spam is about the least painful way I can think of doing that. I'm collecting bossing maps just because I like bossing. So we got all that spec, and we got shrines and so forth. Yeah, usual mapping stuff, really. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. I actually finally feel like I'm getting somewhere. It actually finally feels like I have an end game character.
Another day.
And the build is quite pleasant to play, because it's mostly shield charge around, and you shoot once at a pack of monsters, and they disintegrate. And that's largely it. So I'm not shooting, and 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots. Actually, everyone's already dead. Okay, good. And that's just the cascading effect of the assaulted corpse death. Right. Anything good in the harvest shop? The other nice thing about this build is that because it has so much ridiculous block and recovery, my strategy for things like Delve and Harvest consists of standing still and holding down E, which is about a level of micro that I can deal with. That's not Queen's Decree. Oh, it is Queen's Decree. I thought it was. Yeah, garbage. Mostly garbage. don't particularly like Harvest. I'm not a fan. I don't enjoy the double click, and I don't enjoy the tiresome pause, and I don't really enjoy the getting mobbed at the start, and I don't really enjoy the third wave, and I don't like the bullshit they come with, and I'm not the biggest fan of picking up the results. So I only do Harvest when absolutely necessary, and I'm only really doing it at the moment for jewelry rolls. I did use it in order to actually get some maps to run Uber Elder. Get some fragments rather, because I was not getting obliging drops of Guardian maps from the game. I swear it feels like they nerfed it. They do this all the time in anticipation of people using the league mechanic to get more loot. They nerf the base loot. It's very annoying, because then if you don't want to actually particularly manipulate the new league mechanic, you're not juicing particularly heavily, then you're just slightly screwed. Not hard screwed, just slightly screwed. What's goals? Score. I don't want to hit off. Yeah, so I was having difficulty getting hold of the all the requisite fragments to knock on Uber Elder's door, because you effectively have to fight the Elder and then fight the Shaper twice, and to fight them you need all 4 of their Guardians separately, and I wasn't even getting all 4 Guardians separately, I was getting the same Guardian repeatedly. So I was using Harvest Juice to transmute their fragments into each other, transmute Guardian fragments into each other so I can actually get to the bosses, and then transmuting boss fragments, because they weren't obliging either. I squeaked through with my 4 million at the time DPS. I think we're probably up to about 6 or something now. 7 maybe. Yeah, I squeaked through those fights. And Exarch and Eater are always a total walkover with whatever character you do them with. But I find Uber Elder, you need gang momentum. I find Uber Elder is just a mess. You know, it's just a mess. I am bad at it, and Maven is fine. With about the DPS I've got now, I suspect we would be fine. With the DPS I had when I did it, it was last portal close. It was not good. It was not a good jewel. Let's just add it to the pile. That's garbage.
Hello.
Yeah. I might stick some footage of the various boss fights I've done on the end of this video, or in subsequent videos. I will stick them up in any case. But we did squeak through, and I do wish that it was possible and easy to actually get those earlier. You know, some builds I can actually do them quite quickly. Other builds, we end up in this situation where I'm kind of a month into the league, and it just feels like I've been wasting my time for weeks, and then suddenly you clear those, you actually get the watch zones, and then you've got a decent set of favourite maps unlocked because you've killed everything necessary, and then all of your maps are tier 16, which means Strand, which is this map, which is one of my favourite maps, but unfortunately is tier freaking 2 or something, or 3, which means it's right at the bottom of the atlas, so you can't run this as a tier 16 until you've got 4 void zones, which I know is deliberate. Yeah, I can suddenly sustain running Strand and Fields, which are adjacent maps that are not bad,
Before someone else does, eh?
and the character is tanky and just kills things. And you can actually have a strategy and you have enough Atlas points to actually pull it off. If you meet something hard, then kill it. It's the good point in the league. And it takes so long to frickin' get here. I wish there was good reason to spend longer here. Because this is when the game gets good. This is what I'm actually playing to get to. Now I do have a lot of challenges to do, so we're only at 18 of 40. Assuming that I don't quit this league, I would like to actually have 38 of 40. I'm not going to get to 40 of 40 this league, I don't think. Kind of depends how this build really turns out and how much time or money I want to spend, because I can't see myself rolling another more capable bossing character. This league, I think this character is going to be it. If I roll something else, it'll be for fun. So, yeah, if I was going to get 40 challenges this league, that means completing Ubers in assorted different ways. That's the issue at the moment. So, Colossal Conditionals is the challenge that's going to be the biggest problem, because this all requires Uber bosses, and yeah, that's just ridiculous. We can probably do the grueling grinds. The other one is tier 17 map bosses. I think I now have 3 tier 17 maps after a month. Admittedly, most of that I've not spent in tier 16s, but the drop rate is pathetic. And apparently the maps are really bad. Apparently you can make lots of money there. I suppose I should go there. But yeah, there are these conditionals attached to those bosses, and I really don't fancy that. Maybe when we finished our next round of upgrades, I've got rid of Chance to Poison, we've swapped out for Darkness Enthroned, we've got doubled up jewels, and we've got 2 Awakened gems. Maybe at that point, I might run tier 17s. The ones I've got, at least. Yeah, but because of those 2 challenges, I mean, everything else I think we can actually do, except even if we do skip those, if we want 38 of 40, 38 challenges completed, which would give us the highest level MTX reward, so the nicest version of this owl hat, which obviously is something important to aim for. Yeah, so if we do want that, then we would, if we're skipping the Uber challenges, as out the last 2 out of 40, so we're getting to 38, we're going to have to complete the Feared at 70% quality. Now that's non-trivial for me. We also have to unlock all favoured map slots, and the last one I have to unlock is by completing the Feared at all. At all is much easier than at 70%. 70% means I need to give the bosses assorted buffs. So, but I could probably just spend a Divine's worth of Chaos re-rolling it until it's actually high quality, but the bosses aren't that hard. But I don't like the Feared. Plus, it's very tedious because I have to go and collect Elder and Shaper and frickin' Uber Adziri and whichever Delve boss it is. Not Chayula, it's the other one. Ulnetol, I think, possibly. Here we go. It's in here somewhere. Oh, it is Chayula. Fine. Okay, yeah, we'd have to collect Chayula. So, yeah, we'd have to go collect those, and then we'd have to fight them all at the same time. I hate that fight. It's stupid. But yeah, so if we want 38 of 40, we've got to do that at 70% map quality. So there's that. That's where we came. So really my question is, am I going to attempt 38 out of 40? or at least getting some more challenges. And I think so for the moment. I'd like to at least make this character a bit better. I'd like to see tier 17s. Maybe have a go at the bosses there, but I can't say that I feel too bothered about beating them. If I really want to do farming, and the other change they made is they put the unlock of the 5-slot map device, which lets you slot in an extra scarab or whatever else when you're mapping. They put that unlock into killing a tier 17 map boss. Now, if I can kill a tier 17 map boss, I'm kind of done for the league. So why would I want the 5th map slot at that point? I don't understand. It used to be attached to doing a 4-way legion, which is nice and simple. I think the idea is they just wanted to tempt people into tier 17s. I think tier 17s are really in need of improvement and are flawed as a concept. And there's all this. We've got the dendrobates, and yep, we've got the dendrobates, and some other stuff. Fine. How are we on juice?
Well, you followed.
How's the chart? Oh, only halfway up. Well. Oh, we got another strand. Good. Yeah, so that's where we are. Another Polaric invitation. Got plenty of dendrobates, actually. Thank you. So I guess I shall go run some more maps. And, yeah, get some more sulfite so I can go and delve, maybe make some more money, maybe buy an Amnamanu's gaze, or at least maybe find one in the various abysses that I'll be killing along the way. Upgrade the character, go explore tier 17s, do some more challenges, and then probably call it for the league. I'm hoping I can last another 3 weeks, because then the PC release of Ghost of Tsushima comes out, I believe, the remastered director's whatever version. So I might play that for a bit whilst I wait for the release of the Shadows of the Erdtree Elden Ring release in June. And once I'm done with that, hopefully it'll be time for the next PoE League. But unless I find something else to play in the meantime, I guess I'll be working on challenges for the next couple of weeks. See how we do. Maybe I'll give up tomorrow. It's not the best league, but we might carry on. We might carry on. Yeah. But at least we're getting somewhere. Cool. That'll do for now. Until next time, farewell.